What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We're ranking all 17 of the bottles of Montale that I own. I repeat, we're ranking all 17 of the Montale fragrance bottles that I own. Some of you know exactly why I did that. And it's still going to happen. So anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in. This one's been pretty requested. We've been doing this series for a little while now. I'm not the only one doing it, but I've been enjoying doing it nonetheless. And I own 17 bottles from this wonderful company of Pierre Montales, and we're going to rank them from worst to best. There's no bad ones here. There's just some that are more challenging and more situational than others, so they get worn a lot less. And then there's some that I can't stop raving about and recommending, so let's talk about them. Stay tuned. At the famed caboose spot of number 17, we have Montale's Mango Manga. So Mango Manga is not going to be for everyone. You hear mango, you think, ooh, this must be amazing. And it is. But it's also very challenging. And why is it very challenging? Because it smells like rotten mango. There's this earthiness. I want to say it's oak moss or something like that. There's a little bit of florals and such. But it does have a bit of this like rotten fruit smell to it. And it's a little bit of a challenge. It's ripe at first, but it turns into more a soured, rotten mango. And that probably sounds terrible. But when you smell it, it's actually one of those fragrances when you smell it's kind of like, Like, it's not off-putting. It's kind of like, I wasn't expecting that's different. You know? Definitely something when you want to stand out. Not a great everyday wear. Not some mass-appealing, crowd-pleasing, high compliment factor fragrance. I'm not saying you can't get compliments with this, but not for the faint of heart. Not for those that are looking for a fun-loving mango scent. This is definitely more niche, if you will. So, coming in at number 17 spot, we got Mango Manga. Next, we've got a warm, somewhat fruity floral powder bomb. It's a literal powder bomb. It does lean a little feminine, but it's perfectly unisex. There was a time when this got a lot of love from Montale. This is called Starry Nights. Again, Starry Nights, you gotta like powdery fragrances. It's immensely powdery. It's a rose powder fragrance. They literally list powdery notes from what I remember. But it's warm at the same time. Like, it doesn't really come across as super girly. It's not Grandma Rose type of stuff. Because there's a little bit of patchouli that darkens it up and adds an earthy tone. Like, there's other elements that keep it running perfectly unisex. The caveat's just you have to like really powdery fragrances. It's a warm rose patchouli powder bomb. And I don't know how many of you are like, ooh, that sounds good. And some of you might be like, ooh, that ain't for me. Definitely one that you need to sample. It's a more situational fragrance. Definitely a great evening wear fragrance. Cooler nights out, long as it's not high humidity and heat, because this would be a bit much, I would think, super cloying with how powdery it actually is. But this is actually a really good one. All of these, by the way, are monster performers. There's one really fresh fragrance that I would call an average performer. Outside of that, just a quick side note, they're all super strong fragrances. Longevity, beastly projection, the whole nine with this one. Again, worth checking out. There's so many fragrances from the house, just like with Mancera. It's easy to miss a lot of good stuff, and this is one that, just because it's at number 16 doesn't mean it's not good. All of these are really good fragrances. It's just, they got to be listed in order, right? Something's got to be a least favorite, and something's got to be a most favorite. And at number 16, towards the least favorite end, we got Starry Nights. One of their more fabled scents. I would say if you're looking for more coffee, go with the Ristretto Intense Cafe flanker. But we got Intense Cafe, probably one of the most famed named Montale fragrances pretty much ever created. Starts off with a pretty intense coffee note. Name's fitting in the opening. Then it dries into a thick, jammy, warm rose. It is mainly a rose fragrance. It's powdery, it's warm and ambery, thick, not the sweetest rose out there, but it definitely has some pretty hefty sweetness. I wouldn't call it like a sugary candy kind of sweetness or anything like that. More like a slight vanillic kind of tone. But yeah, rose and coffee, I would say more rose than coffee for sure. Because that coffee does fade for a little bit, but this stuff is like pouring a scented glue on your clothing. So be wary if you're the type that likes to spray your garments. This is going to be on there for like, as long as you own the shirt probably. It's going to smell like Intense Cafe. That's the kind of strength this bad boy has. So, gotta like rose. A lot less coffee than you may think. It's Intense Cafe. This is fresh, citrusy, a bit green and herbal. It's literally in the name. It's a matcha tea fragrance. It is blue matcha. Now, the reason this one's on the lower end, I just haven't worn it enough to say I like it so much more than others that I have spent more time with. This is a good fragrance, though. If you like tea fragrances, it's on the fresher side of things. It's definitely got a little bit of a watery citrus feel to it. It's a very easygoing, I don't want to say playful fragrance, but more casual fragrance, I think, is the better way for me to put it. Really good performance as well, and it's got a little bit of a leathery backbone to kind of ground this fragrance, where it's not just some mega freshy, it's got some depth to it as well, and a little bit of body at the base of the fragrance. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you like fresh tea fragrances that aren't over the top spicy and herbal, but it does have a little bit of that. It's blue matcha. Next, we have an aquatic floral. It's a little creamy, meets powdery, because it's tuberose meets iris, but it's fruity with peach. It's aquatic, like it's interesting, but it's very fresh, and I don't think it's too floral and flowery. It is called Aqua Palma. This is another one that I got last year that I've only worn once, admittedly, but it does smell really, really good. We're actually going to give this one a little spritz. Because you get more iris than you do tuberose. That's why I say it's a little creamy, and I know it's because of the tuberose, but it doesn't give you too much of a beachy feel. You will get a little hint of sunscreen, because it is a breezy aquatic meets some of that creamy tuberose. Tuberose is good for that, but the iris kind of brings it back to more of a powdery iris fragrance overall. Clean and musky, very fresh, but really, really strong for as fresh as it is. So keep that in mind. You even have the palm tree going here, because it does have a bit of a beachy feel to it. It is great for those of you that live in a warmer climate, or such as I do, right by the beach. Great fragrance for this. I need to get it back in my rotation, because like I said, shame on me. I've only worn it once since I grabbed it last year, and it probably would climb the rankings more if I had at least a handful of wearings under my belt. I just have so many fragrances, right? So it's actually pretty damn good. It's Aqua Palma. Now here's one that's really interesting. I actually have Paris Corner's clone of this one that is a little bit fresher, because you get a lot more leather in this one. It's a black leather accord with some oud, meets a sunscreen fragrance with Oud Island. It is actually really good. The color of this bottle is fitting. It is a hefty black leather accord, bit of oud that doesn't offer too much funk, and it's not medicinal. It's more of a dry wood smell, a little bit of funk. And then on top of that, you have a bunch of citruses, a hint of florals. It does have that sunscreen beach vibe with black leather and oud. It's an odd combination, but it's a damn good combination. If you want a fresher twist on this that lightens up on that black leather accord, Oud Holidays from Paris Corner. It's a clone of this. I actually got that the day before this came in. And I do in some ways prefer that one a bit, but in the cooler weather, this would be better, because it's a much denser fragrance because of that black leather accord. It really thickens the fragrance up. It's good. It's around middle of the pack amongst all of my Montale fragrances, but it is pretty damn good. It's, I would say, on the unique side of things. It's Oud Island. Okay, we're gonna slide on over to this side. So I'm trying to do the balancing act to get that off of my face from the blinds by the window, because it's late enough in the morning. It's 8:31 a.m. A little later than I normally do content. Had a later start to my day. But with that said, night out on your vacation, your summer vacation, that's how I've always recommended tropical wood. So tropical wood is a passion fruit pineapple fragrance with some funky oud. I find it's kind of funky anyways. Come on. Focus for me. I'm going to do this. Should focus. Yeah, there we go. Tropical wood. This is a good one. A little bit of leather, some vanilla, but overall, it's a fruity oud. And a lot of oud. A lot of it. This is definitely very oud forward. And tropical meaning you get the pineapple and you get passion fruit. You get more passion fruit than anything else. This is a delight. Very situational fragrance, but a delight nonetheless. Absolute monster performer. 2 to 3 sprays if you're going to wear this to dinner on your vacation. I mean, you don't have to be on a beach vacation to wear this fragrance, obviously, but it will transport you there. This is for the fragrance enthusiast. The reason I say that, this is the kind of thing a fragrance enthusiast, somebody that's really into fragrance, me and you, would wear on a vacation to dinner with a freaking Hawaiian shirt on. You know what I mean? You're going to be the best smelling person in the room. You're going to be the most interesting smelling person in the room because you're the person at the beach vacation wearing oud and fruits. You're automatically the most interesting smelling person in the room if you're wearing oud and fruits. And if that sounds good, good. Because guess what? It is good. It's tropical wood. Okay, there's other notes going here, but this is musky, slightly aquatic ambergris, and vanilla with some woods. They list leather and all that good stuff. Faint. I don't really get it. But pure love. Kind of a salty, saltwater ambergris musk kind of smell with some vanilla. This is really good. This is a really good one. Light spritzes. It's a good one. This is kind of like a sweet blue because it's so much synthetic ambergris. With the way the vanilla comes across, it almost smells like, kind of like it could be a little bit of like Le Male Lover from Jean-Paul Gaultier. Not exactly the same, but kind of the same way I would describe that one is kind of a sweeter blue. It's a powdered vanilla, clean, musky, aquatic with a little bit of spice. Like they don't smell exactly the same, but I would describe them similarly and categorize them about the same. But this is nuclear. Le Male Lover's strong. This dwarfs it, right? So nobody talks about this one. I've had this one for years. I've worn it, close to 2 handfuls of times over the years. And it's one that, it just reels me in. It's a mass appealing fragrance. It's not funky in any way, shape, or form. It's not loaded down with florals, because that's the trick with Montale and Mancera. They got a lot of rose heavy, a lot of floral heavy fragrances, and a lot of ouds. Some people don't want to mess with any of that, but they still want to dabble into the house. A fragrance like this will give you kind of that familiarity with the Pierre Montale touch, if you will. This is a good one that gets no attention. No love, if you will. It's pure love. Next, this I would say is the weakest fragrance here. And it's still an average 6 to 7 hour longevity performing fragrance with pretty stout, airy, fluffy projection for close to 2 hours. Let's call it 6 to 8 hour range of longevity. And that's the weakest fragrance in the video. It is Montale's Soleil de Capri. If I could get it to focus. So this is kumquat and grapefruit with this fresh, white, flowery musk smell. This is a good one. This room is going to smell like wild. It manages to be watery and aquatic the way the juiciness and the freshness of these citruses. There's a citrus accord, there's grapefruit, and this kumquat gives it this fresh, non-sweet, fruity smell. Adds some juiciness. It's mainly kumquat that you're going to get from this. This is a beautiful fragrance. This is heavily overlooked. If you're looking for what I would deem the best fresh fragrance I've tried from the House of Montale, it's definitely this one. That's why it's towards the upper end of middle of the pack here. I mean, we're at 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We're at number 9 of 17. We're pretty much smack dab in the middle because we got an odd number. That's about where it belongs. This is the one if you live in the warmer climate and you want a freshie that's not all the other freshies in your collection. That's not all the other designers that you have, but it has the same appeal of those designers. The quality is just a little bit better, and it's a slightly more unique blend. You get fruits without sweet. Kumquat and pear are kind of the main culprits to get fruity without sweet. Here you go. It's kind of a bomb of kumquat. It's really good. Soleil de Capri. Now here's a misleading name. It's a strong-ass fragrance too. It's called Spicy Oud. When guess what it really is? It's spicy patchouli. I don't even smell oud. You get a lot of saffron and patchouli. They list citrus and a couple other things, but I don't get none of that. I get saffron and patchouli, and it's a earthy green leafy type of patchouli. It's a little dirty. It's not chocolatey or real creamy, and the saffron here is warm, hot, spicy. This is another one. Lost in the shuffle, way overlooked. Probably nobody gives it the time of day. I did a review on this one, a couple of years ago, a few years ago, 3 years ago, some shit like that. I don't remember exactly, but I have done a full review on this one. This one's a guilty pleasure fragrance for any of you that like patchouli. You would never guess it based on the name that it's a patchouli fragrance. And when you look at the note breakdown, you'll see there's only 4 or 5 notes, and it's patchouli, and it's listed as like a spicy oriental. That's why. Because of saffron and patchouli. And that's what it is. They should call it spicy patchouli. It's that simple. And sometimes simple's all you need. It is that good. If you like patchouli, I strongly encourage you get your nose on spicy oud. Super, super clean. You iris lovers that love a good clean iris fragrance. Iris, musk, and I think sandalwood. I think that's the 3 notes if I remember correctly. And when I saw the notes, I was like, I bet that's a clean ass fragrance. Yeah, it sure is. Intense, so iris. And it is so iris. It sure the hell is. We're going to give a little half a spray on hand. This is for the iris lovers that don't want a challenge. You don't want a heavy leather. You don't want the smokiness. You don't want dense woods. You just want clean. It's a clean white musk, a little touch of some creamy sandalwood just to give it a little bit of a base, and a powdered iris. Not super earthy. Just a little bit of earthiness, but it's waxy and dry, but clean and fresh. Powdery, because it's iris, but not, stuff, there's other stuff here that's more of a powder bomb. Like, I've got a few coming up that are super powder bomb. Starry Nights, much more of a powder bomb. It's just absolutely stunning. If you want a clean, waxy iris, a little bit of lipstick smell, it is, for sure. But it's done right. Perfectly unisex. Those of you that find iris feminine, okay, it's feminine. Those of you that love iris, though, you need this one cheap, too. 100 ml tester. This was full presentation. That's why it's got the pen separately. For those of you wondering how some of these have it through the atomizer head, and some of these have it through the neck. So the neck, where you can pull the pin, full presentation. Where it's just there for show, it's part of the atomizer head. You can't take it off. That's a tester. So, because I have like 8 of them are like testers. This was full presentation. Because some of you are going to ask, why is it like this? That's why. If you can pull it, and it's literally on the collar to where you can stop it from spraying, that's from full presentation. If it's just sticking through the head and you can't pull it off, it's just there for looks. It's a tester. It's meant to just sit on the shelf for testers for people. Man, such a great clean iris. And we'll leave it on that. It's simple. There's nothing crazy detailed to go into with this one. It's that simple. It's clean musk, waxy, dry, lipsticky type iris. It's intense so iris. One of the most famous Montale fragrances. Mass appealing, compliment getter, beastly performer. Yeah. Wood and Spices. It's a good one. It's definitely on my upper end. It's a creamy, powdery, spicy wood fragrance. Got a lot of woodiness too. Ebony, vetiver, and I forgot what else. It's 3 different type of woody type notes with some spices like cardamom, and it's a little on the creamy side. Creamy, soft powder. It's a good one. This one's a tester. See? Can't pull it. It's just sticking through. It's sticking through the head. See? This was a tester. See, it just sprays with it on. Nico Sculpture. Any of you familiar with that? This is the niche version. Much better, too. Way better. Way better. This is quintessential Montale. This is highly versatile. It's masculine for being a little powdery. It is a very masculine smelling fragrance. I think all the love this has gotten over the years is warranted and justified. It's a monster performer. It smells good. It will pull some compliments. People will smell you. Not the best fragrance in the summer, but the rest of the year, you wear this stuff every day. It could be your signature scent if you really want it to. It's got some pretty good versatility for being a spicy wood-based fragrance. A little musky, too. I don't even think they list musk, but yeah. It's definitely a good one. All the good things you've heard are true with Wood and Spices. A fragrance that to this day surprises me that I've gotten about a handful of compliments with. Because some of you heard my full review, which was like 4 years ago on this one, where I described the opening as Flintstone vitamins. And I stand by that statement. Oud Tobacco. Yes, it smells like chewable Flintstone vitamins to me in the opening. This dry, earthy tobacco, smoky. It's a dry, woody oud. It's not so funky. Like, there's a lot of dryness and earthiness to this while being smoky with a hint of citrus to freshen it up. Like, really, really smoky. It's a smoky oud accord. I believe there's incense as well. The tobacco accord might even be intensifying the smokiness. It's a very smoky fragrance. But manages to be very aromatic, and it's Not wispy, because it's not a lighter smokiness. Like I said, it's very smoky. But it still manages to be kind of airy at the same time. It's not too heavy of a fragrance. This is really good in the cooler weather. This is really, really, really good. This is elite level tobacco for me. As far as tobacco fragrances, definitely top 10 in my collection. But if I really thought about it, it would creep around the top 5, maybe 6 or 7. Performance is outrageous, as you would expect with Pierre Montale. This is just really, really good. And yeah, I said Flintstone vitamins. It smells like it to me. You may not agree. It's the first thing I thought of the first time I smelled it. Now I can't get that out of my mind when I smell it. But this is a good one. If you like smoky fragrances, that's the main thing to understand. Because it's not just a tobacco bomb. It's not a oud masterpiece. But it is an incense lover's tobacco oud. Come on now. Look, I like my new Indy Hartwell shirt too, but my camcorder seems to frickin' want to just stare at Indy the whole frickin' time instead of giving me some focus. Let me block Indy's face out. You wrestling fans know who that is. Oh, for the love of God, come on. We'll block Indy. There we go. I had it for a second. There we go. Oud Tobacco. Okay, now we're getting into, because we're in my top 5, and now it's like these last 4 are interchangeable. You could pretty much put any of them in any spot, and I'd be okay with that. This is like Herbapura, but so much better. It's Xerjoff's Herbapura with aquatic notes and prominent mint. It's literally in the name. Herbal Aquatica. This is so good. This is so good. This is one of my favorite fragrances Pierre Montale has ever done. It's got all that fruitiness and citruses. Like I said, everything about enjoyable about Herbapura, or even if you like, there's certain things that put you off about Herbapura, this will fix it. Leafy, minty green, freshwater aquatic. It's not a salty aquatic, it's a freshwater aquatic. This is so, so, so good. It's that simple. Citruses, fruits, mint leaf, and fresh water. And great performance. Oh my. Spring, summer, early fall, depending on your climate, maybe olive fall, if you live in a warmer climate, year round, really. So good. And we're going to leave it at that. Get yourself a sample of this. It's Herbal Aquatica. 90s kids, this is something you need if you've ever been a fan of Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger and you've been looking for more out of that scent profile. This is called Fougeres Marine. So the opening to this fragrance will undoubtedly remind you of Tommy Cologne. Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. So this has a strong freshwater accord and oak moss. It's a very simple note breakdown, musk and stuff like that. So the freshwater accord freshens up that oak moss to where it's not too dark and earthy, but it's a spicy green. So it becomes a fresh green, spicy fragrance. It's not super aquatic, but it's a little on the watery side. I would say the opening's kind of a dead ringer for Tommy Hilfiger's Tommy Cologne. This is about as close as we're getting to niche Tommy. Great performance, because I love Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. That's the fragrance I've cleared the most bottles of. I've been through like 7 or 8 bottles in my life of that fragrance. I think like 8, something like that. And that's like I get like 3 hours if I'm lucky out of that. This 10 to 12 hours, easy. Signature scent stuff. If you like Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger, so that's mainly who I'm speaking to. That's watching this right now. 90s kids or anybody that ever liked Tommy Hilfiger cologne, Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. You need this. You are who I'm encouraging to buy this, not just sample it. If you love Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger, you won't hear me say this often, guys, just buy this. Because if you love that, you're really going to love this. For you, this is about as safe of a blind buy as there exists. I was blown away the first time I smelled it because I heard it's like Tommy. Well, I have to give that a shot. That's a Mount Rushmore fragrance. For those of you that don't know the story, that's the first fragrance I ever asked my parents to buy me. It was one of my Christmas. I'll never forget that gift set with the duffel bag I got for Christmas. It was either 5th or 6th grade. Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger was the first fragrance I ever sought after and wanted in the mid-90s as a child. So it's the greatest fragrance of all time to me. To younger Ross, it's the GOAT, right? Niche that, and we'll leave it at that. You got to focus on this one. Come on now, quit playing with me. Quit playing with me, ho. Come on. I'm determined. There we go. Fougeres Marine. Now, this used to be my number one for years and years and years until last year I picked up one specific fragrance that tops it. So number 2 is Honey Oud. So let me paint you a picture on how this smells. If you were to take a pile of oud chips, drizzle honey all over it, sprinkle cinnamon, shave a bit of vanilla, voila, you have Honey Oud. It's warm and ambery. So good. It's delectable, but a little funky. Not over the top funky. It's pretty wearable because there's so many gourmand, delicious elements to this. This is a gourmand oud. It's sticky, thick honey amber, sweet vanilla, sweet powdery vanilla, spoonful of cinnamon. Crazy performance. Compliment magnet. I'll just say this. If you wear this and you're dialing it up beyond 3 sprays, you're 5, 6, 7, 8, getting wild at 8 sprays because it's that strong, 9, 10, whatever. Everybody around you smells you, whether they say it or not. And if you don't get at least one compliment, because nothing can guarantee it, I'm just telling you, this is that kind of fragrance. It's you. There's something going on here. There's something with the attitude, the aura, the energy. You ugly motherfucker. I don't know. I tried to make it funny. Everybody gets offended when I have some jokes, by the way. Take it lightly when I do these things, by the way, guys. People get seriously offended. Society, right? This is that good. I mean what I'm saying. I'm saying it in a joking manner and having some fun with it. But it's that good. It's something with you. If you go to an event of some kind, a gathering of sorts around a lot of people, and you wear this strong-ass, super alluring fragrance, and not one human tells you you smell good, it's you. It's you. Don't get mad at Honey Oud. Look in that mirror and get mad at that person and figure out what you got to do to change the game to where you seem more approachable or something. I don't know what to tell you. Because him, as the kids like to say, this fragrance is him. Ladies, perfectly unisex too. You can totally enjoy this. This is one of the greatest fragrances ever created, in my opinion, let alone some of Pierre Montale's best work. This is so frustrating. So frustrating. Come on. Making the video unnecessarily longer than it needs to be. Got to block Indy. I forgot. Oh well. Honey Oud. And what's the name of that fragrance that dethroned a fragrance that I just spoke so highly of and got dramatic with and emotionally excited about? Yeah, it's the one that smells kind of like Baccarat Rouge 540. And don't let that scare you away. I would say it's like 30 to 40% of this profile is Baccarat Rouge 540. Yeah, it's got the sweetness and everything. But it is a rose patchouli fragrance. Sensual Instinct. Oh my God. I wanted this for a couple of years and I kept putting it off and I finally grabbed it last year. I don't think I can give you a description that'll make you understand how good I think this actually is. You gotta like rose and patchouli and Baccarat Rouge 540. If you can check all of those boxes, buy this. If you're not certain, of course sampling it is the best course of action. But for those that like to play the blind buy game, fragrance roulette, just roll the dice with your money. If you like thick jammy rose, thick Bulgarian rose, I say patchouli. It's actually oak moss. It's very earthy green. It kind of smells more like patchouli to me than oak moss. It's actually oak moss that's listed. But if you like very earthy green, thick Bulgarian rose, and you're a fan of Baccarat Rouge 540's DNA, may I give to you the Montale fragrance you should own. You might need 2 if you're a Tommy Hilfiger fan, though. Trust me. But I can't say enough good things about this one. This one's going on skin, too. This one's a tester as well. That was a mistake, because I have 2 Montale fragrances on my hands that, even with hand washing, is not going to completely go away. So, fragrance is going to be pumping off the skins at the gym for arm day. Makes me so happy to smell this. It's my favorite. It's not even close. And Honey Oud, you heard what I had to say about Honey Oud. But I like rose. Right? You gotta like the thick rose or accord here. And there's a little bit of spice to it. It's not just BR540. Because if you look at these forum pages, your Trogranticas, your Parfumos and such, and you look, you're going to see the number one thing is BR540 EDP. Because it's the easiest thing to relate it to, but it's so much more than that. It is so much more than that. It, to me, is so much better than Baccarat Rouge 540. Way more interesting and deep. Way more. Like, it's not even comparably close to me. This is my opinion, of course. But I think it's not close, guys. I really don't. So, if you check those boxes of thick Bulgarian rose, super earthy green dry down, that you do get a little bit of early, and BR540's DNA, once again, the Montale fragrance you should own. Again, hopefully it focuses right away this time. Of course not. That would have just been convenient, right? They focus in the beginning, but Sensual Instinct. Well, thank you guys for making it through a long video. These ranking videos are always long because there's always more than 10 fragrances. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have links down below just to Fragrance Buy. You can check out most of these from Fragrance Buy. I'll have some of them linked through YouTube's affiliate network as well. It'll be Joma Shop, Fragrance Net, places like that. Temper your expectations on shipping time with Sloma Shop. Just throwing it out there. Make sure it says in stock. If it says 1 to 3 days, 5 to 8 days, whatever, it's going to take a little bit. That's why I nickname them Sloma Shop. But Fragrance Net, you're good to go. Fragrance Buy, you're good to go. So you'll have some options down below if you want to check any of these out. Do not feel pressured to buy anything just because I got excited about some of these fragrances, like really excited about some of them. I just hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just glad you spent a little bit of your day with me. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave. We'll see you on the next one.